Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the very first Sack Race Weekly of 2021. I'm Jack Kitson, and as always, I'll be joined by Simon from Empty Seats. Today, it's a special show because we're going to look at 10 out-of-work managers we want to see back in the dugout this year. These aren't necessarily the best high-profile managers out of work at the moment, but a whole mixture of managers from different levels, different styles, and different stages of their careers. So before we get on to that, please do check out thesackrace.com. We've got Joey Barton in the mix for the Sheffield Wednesday job. Tim Cahill's been linked with Fleetwood, and Emil Heskey is in the mix for the Port Vale job. So please do check that out on the site. First manager on the list is Thomas Tuchel, probably the most in-demand manager around at the moment. He's just left PSG on Christmas Eve. What I love about the German is he's not been spoon-fed. He started off as a barman and then he went into the under-19 teams. Mainz he took charge of, did well with them in the top flight, then went on to Dortmund, won the cup, runners-up in the Bundesliga. Then, of course, at PSG, where he won all the domestic honours, a quadruple last season, and nearly that Champions League. He's versatile, adaptable, he's managed big egos, and he's such an engaging character, as we saw last season in the Champions League when he broke his leg and he was on the touchline, broke his foot. Great quote from him. My philosophy is an aesthetic one. Aesthetic means to control the ball, the rhythm, to attack in every minute, and to try and score as many goals as possible. He loves entertaining football, he loves goals, and he loves winning as well. Simon, where is he going to return to next?
Well, I really like Thomas Tuchel. I think he's done a brilliant job wherever he's been. Obviously, when he was sacked by PSG, they were a little off the pace as what they have been. But I think everywhere else he's been absolutely brilliant. He's obviously won the League One title. Where's he going to go next? I'd love to see him in England. I know it might be a bit early to write off Arteta or Lampard, but why not? Give him a go at Chelsea. Give him a go at Arsenal. I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I really think he's one of the top managers in the world.
He's got a great tactical mind, emotionally intelligent too. He's 2-1 for Chelsea. Lampard, of course, under a bit of pressure. 3-1 for Arsenal and 15-2 for Man United. So we'll see what happens there. In at number 2 is Max Allegri, the former Milan and Juventus manager. He's out of work at the moment. He's been out of work for a little while, but we surely are going to see him back. He keeps going on about coming to the Premier League. So we'll see what happens there. But this is a man, he doesn't care about the buzzwords. He's not really got a set philosophy or style, but he's pragmatic, patient, controlled style of play. Excellent defensively, but by no means dull. He's not too focused on technology either, which I love. I don't think he even owns a laptop, but he's very in tune with his players. We've seen, as mentioned, we've seen quite a few interviews with him saying he wants to come to the Premier League. If that does happen, where will it be?
Manchester United, in 2 words. I know Solskjaer's doing a great job at the moment, and I know I think Allegri should have been an Arsenal contender a few years ago before they appointed Emery. Maybe they should have gone all out for Allegri, but I think the Manchester United job for me just seems perfect for him. I think once Solskjaer's gone, and I know he's doing a great job and they're in a title race and he's brilliant at the moment, but in a couple of years when Solskjaer's gone, I think Allegri, he's the man for that job. He's a big name, and I think after Solskjaer, after a club legend, Man United will want a big name to come in. He is the man for that job.
He's 3-1 for Chelsea, who have a love affair with Italian managers, of course. And he's also 20-1 for Newcastle. So if a takeover ever happens, keep an eye on that one. In at number 3, we have Paul Cook, who is linked with every job since he left Wigan in the summer. He's won a league title at Wigan, at Chesterfield, at Portsmouth. He's a proven winner who brings success, and he does such a good job in difficult circumstances at Wigan. Simon, what are his main qualities?
I mean, he is genuinely one of the most fantastic managers in the EFL. The passion he shows on the touchline, the relationship he seems to have with his players. He can bring through a load of youth players, as we've seen at all the clubs he's been at so far. But you've hit the nail on the head there. He's a winner. He gets the results done when the team needs them. Remember at the start of 2020, Wigan were in all sorts of problems and they went on a stonking run, equaling Brentford, I think, for the number of points won in 2020 to lead them to that 13th place finish. Of course, it ended sourly off the field, but he's genuinely such a good manager. I really hope he gets a job again in the Championship, because that's the least he deserves at the moment.
At the time of recording, he is being linked with Sheffield Wednesday. Do you think he could get that job, or will he be put off by their trigger-happy owner who sacked Tony Pulis after 10 games?
I'd like to think after his experience at Wigan, he's learnt a bit from dodgy owners, from this sort of thing going on behind the scenes. So I would like to say, I think Paul Cook deserves, I think you agree with me here, he deserves a more stable job in the Championship. He doesn't deserve what happened to him at Wigan to happen again. He certainly doesn't deserve to be sacked after 10 games. He's better than that. So I'd hope he actually turns the Sheffield Wednesday job down if he gets offered it and he goes for a club a bit more stable, a bit more reliable.
Number 4, Eddie Howe, another manager we've been seeing linked with loads of jobs. Of course, he did a brilliant job at Bournemouth, who he took from League 2 to the Premier League in 2 spells. Created a great attacking, entertaining style. We've seen him be linked with Celtic and literally every Championship job. Do you think he's waiting around for the Premier League? Because, of course, West Brom opted for Big Sam. They didn't choose Eddie Howe. Do you think he can afford to wait around for a Premier League job? Or do you think we're seeing return to the Championship or maybe even Scotland in the summer if Neil Lennon leaves Celtic?
Celtic is a bit of a wild card. I can't quite call what he'd do on that one. I still think he's waiting for a Premier League job. I think Crystal Palace is the perfect job for him, to be quite honest. I think Roy Hodgson is coming to the end of his time there. I know they've bounced back a little bit, but some poor run earlier in the season. He was coming under a bit of pressure. And I honestly think a team like Crystal Palace, a team like Newcastle, that's the kind of job he's waiting for to come up. And I think once that job does come up, he'll be strong favourite to get it. And I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get it. I think if he was to take a Championship club, I've said this in the past, I think he would have just stuck with Bournemouth. He lives there, he knows the place, he loves the club. If he wanted to manage in the Championship, I think he would have stayed at Bournemouth.
That's a brilliant shout. It's 21-10 to Palace and 9-2 for Newcastle. Number 5, Maurizio Sarri, the managerial maverick. He plays attacking, beautiful football, Sarri ball. It doesn't always work. He needs time to implement, as we've seen at Napoli, where it really did. It was beautiful to watch, wasn't it? But he didn't win a trophy there. He won the Europa League at Chelsea, also got them to the League Cup final and into the Champions League, left after a season, went to Juventus, where he won the league title, but they got fed up of him after a season. So he said his 2 most successful seasons and he's left after each job. Could you see him ever returning to the Premier League, or do you think it's very much, it'd be back to Italian football quite soon? He's been linked with Lazio recently.
Yeah, I think it will be Italian football for Sarri. I think his experience in the Premier League wasn't a good one in terms of the press and the fans, to be honest, even though he was fairly successful at Chelsea. You mentioned, the 2 trophies he won there. I think he did quite a good job, but the football got quite stagnant quite quickly. I think that's what they found at Juventus as well, even though he won the league title. But I think Italian football suits his kind of management style a bit more. And as you mentioned, that Napoli team was absolutely stunning. So I hope he gets a good job. I think Lazio is actually quite a good fit for him.
They are, of course, managed by Inzaghi, who is doing a really good job. He's won 3 trophies there already. So I don't see him leaving, but who knows? This is Italian football. Number 6, we have a sack race favourite, Sol Campbell, the former Macclesfield and Southend manager, who again, he's also been linked with so many jobs. He galvanised Macclesfield. It's quite a miracle, really. Took them from the bottom of the table and kept them in the league, in the Football League. And he moved up a division to Southend, which was really a sinking ship. He couldn't work his magic there, but his hands were severely tied. He had a transfer embargo and no money to spend. Simon, we see him linked with a lot of jobs, and a lot of people sigh and comment on when we do tweets out. Do you think Sol Campbell receives sort of unfair criticism?
Yeah, I do, to be honest. I think if you look at the clubs he's managed, the 2 you've mentioned there, Macclesfield, all the issues they've had off the pitch, the same with Southend. He's not really had a stable club to manage. We saw it with Paul Cook and Wigan. It makes such a difference behind the scenes. I think at Macclesfield, players weren't getting paid and he still managed to keep them up. I would like to see him. I don't think he'll manage in the Championship or Premier League anytime soon, but I'd like to see him given a job in League 2, a stable club where we can really see what he can do. Because as you mentioned, he did a great job at Macclesfield keeping them up, and a reasonable job at Southend. I think, as you say, it was always going to end in relegation, that one. But to be honest, we haven't seen what he can do at a fair club. I want to see him get a job in League 2 and see if he can have a playoff push or get promotion, because then he's got so much experience under his CV already in terms of basket case clubs. Let's see what he can do at a stable club.
You're right, Simon. I'd love to see him at a club who aren't in crisis. Really see what he can do. Build a club. Maybe a Port Vale, League 2, they're looking for a new manager, or maybe even in League 1 at Fleetwood. Sheffield Wednesday, we'll have to wait and see on that one, but he's also in the mix for that job. Number 7, another favourite here, Arsene Wenger. He's been out of work since leaving Arsenal. Would he ever return? This is the thing. I personally don't see a return to club football unless it's maybe to save a club he loves, like Arsenal, maybe for the until the end of the season. I see him more branch into the international arena if a club are looking for a country are looking for a manager before a major tournament. Simon, I know you love Wenger. Will he ever return?
Not club football, no. I think his days are done in terms of day-to-day club management. It takes a lot of energy out of someone, and he's obviously getting on quite a bit now. But I would like to see him back on the international stage. As you mentioned, does a country need a new manager before a World Cup, perhaps? I'm looking at maybe even Qatar, one of those nations who are in the World Cup and have nothing to lose. Why don't they give Wenger a chance to manage them and see what he can do at a World Cup? Elsewhere, maybe he could get the France job in a couple of years, depending on how they're doing. I would like to see him manage once again, but he seems to be pretty content at the moment.
Number 8, the Cowley brothers. They do come as a pair, Danny and Nicky. What a job they did with Lincoln. They moved on to Huddersfield in the Championship and saved them before they surprisingly left. Like Paul Cook, like Eddie Howe, like Sol Campbell, they're always in next manager markets in the EFL. Simon, they've got a great hands-on approach. They're determined, hard-working, real leadership and self-belief qualities. What sort of club suits them?
To be honest, I think they can do a great job at any club in the Football League. Obviously, they need a bit of stability, but we saw at Lincoln they did such a fantastic club. They had the trust of the board. They could bring in who they wanted. They got promotion. They had an amazing FA Cup run, and they got promotion again. They've just done such an exceptional job. Huddersfield as well, slightly different scenario, a bit more money to spend, but they came in and did the job there as well. I honestly think they can work their magic at any club. What do you need in the Championship? If you need a duo to keep you up, they've proved they can do that. If you need a duo to get you promoted through the leagues in the Football League, they've proved they can do that as well. It's the man management, it's the intensity. I absolutely love the Cowley brothers. I hope they get a good job soon. I don't want them taking the Sheffield Wednesday job for the same reason I don't want Paul Cook taking the Sheffield Wednesday job. I want them to get a Championship job again and really see what they can do.
Now, we're each picking a wild card each. So in at number 9 is my wild card pick, who is Paolo Di Canio, former Swindon and Sunderland manager who hasn't been seen for nearly 8 years now. But at Swindon, decent job. Won them the League 2 title, took them to the Johnson's Paint Trophy final, and he also led them up to 6th in League 1 before leaving. He's, of course, very controversial. You expect fireworks. He's a real passionate guy, a real character. Went on to Sunderland, saved them from the drop, had that famous win over Newcastle, loved the celebration, and then it ended all in tears at the start of the next season. Will he come back? Well, he's actually in the mix for a few jobs at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday, Fleetwood, Port Vale, and even Celtic, who he played for. He's an outsider in every market, but we'd love to see him back. Would you, Simon?
Paolo Di Canio at Sheffield Wednesday, a former player, of course, there at Hillsborough. What isn't there to love about that with that owner and Paolo Di Canio as manager? Make it happen. I want to see it.
And Simon, please reveal your wildcard pick at number 10.
I'm sorry, it's not as exciting as Paolo Di Canio, but I've actually been looking at Leonardo Jardim, the former Monaco manager. He, for me, is still one of the top managers in Europe, out of work at the moment. He did an amazing job in Portugal. He managed Braga, he's managed Sporting, he's won the league title at Olympiacos. His win ratio throughout his career has been absolutely phenomenal. 76% at Olympiacos, 65% at Sporting, and then Monaco, of course, he went to with a very young Mbappe, with the likes of Bernardo Silva, created one of the most exciting squads in Europe and beat PSG when they were all conquering, all dominant, to that League One title. Of course, then he left and then came back to Monaco. His second spell wasn't quite as successful. He was only there for less than a year. But I think that was kind of Thierry Henry to blame, because he came into the team after Thierry Henry had managed it and it just didn't click, just didn't work out for him. But still, he's out of work at the moment and his CV speaks for itself for me. And I want to see him in the Premier League. Let's see what he can do. And yeah, exceptional. He's such an exciting manager and the football he plays is exceptional. What do you think of Jardim, Jack?
I love it. Great shout. Jardim. Shocking. To finish up on, we've also got a few late shout-outs, of course. Joey Barton, who's just left Fleetwood. Great job he did there. He's one of the favourites for the Sheffield Wednesday job, so we'll see what happens there. Got Nigel Pearson, Spalletti, Favre, Valverde, Wagner, Alan Pardew, Mark Hughes, Tony Pulis, Mick McCarthy. All these names, even Tony Adams and Gary Monk as well. So keep an eye on all their odds on the satrace.com. Simon, thanks very much, mate.